Perfect. Yeah, so I started Bondi June 2020, so in the midst of COVID. I was actually living on Bondi Beach in Australia for about 2 years prior, and I loved my time there. I never wanted to leave. And then March of 2020, my dad had called that he'd found a tumor in his bladder. And my dad is my hero, my best friend. He's the person I look up to more than anyone in this world. And so on that phone call, I hear my mom and sister crying in the background, and my sister's 2 years younger than me. And so as the older sister, I wanted to be home and I wanted to take care of my family and like kind of be with them during this time. So I immediately bought a one-way ticket home. And I got here and I had no job. I had nothing to do. It was in the middle of COVID. And thankfully, God, my dad's cancer was a non-invasive cancer, which was such a blessing and an answer to prayer. But now I was stuck in Oklahoma because there was no return flights to Australia. And I was honestly depressed. I was angry at God. I was, just angry at the situation. I was honestly subconsciously angry at my dad that he was okay and that I didn't need to come home at this time. But I know that the Lord brought me home for Bondi, and it's cool to like see that and look back on that time and be like, wow, the Lord was so intentional in every step that I took, and he was in every step that I took. Anyway, so I was making these smoothie bowls for him. He had visited me previously and fallen in love with them. And so I was making for my dad because of all their amazing health benefits, and kind of what we were just touching on is I want to be intentional with our ingredients. So it's a pure acai that we put in there because I wanted to fuel my dad with the best type of product that I could. So high in antioxidants, high in minerals and vitamins, and all the stuff that he just needed to fuel his body with. And then I started perfecting a homemade granola recipe that I would make him try all the different flavors, and then he would fall in love with one. And then same with our peanut butter. My mom figured out the peanut butter recipe and our almond butter recipe, and we just like had fun as a family like creating this. And then one day we were just sitting on the couch and my mom was scrolling through Facebook and she was like, you should get a food truck and serve the community these smoothie bowls. You love them, Dad loves them, we all love them. Why don't you go out and use your strengths and go and serve the community? So I literally bought a food truck that weekend, wrapped it pink, which is my favorite color, and like hit the ground running. So it's been cool to see how the Lord has like blessed Bondi from where we started, and our why has always been, and our foundation has always been to serve the community and to bless the communities that we're in. And so when we franchised at month 5 or licensed at month 5, that was our pure intentions. That's our mission statement. It's encouraging God-honoring conversation while providing clean and healthy meals. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that first part is so important, and that is kind of our why, and that is why licensees join into the Bondi family, because they want to be a part of the mission. Yeah, we're serving an amazing, intentional, healthy, no refined sugar product, but we're also doing it in a way where you feel loved and a part of a community. And so, and we've just been growing. We're on year 3. We now have 17 franchise trucks across 8 states, and I opened the brick and mortar storefront here in downtown Edmond a year and a half ago, so January of 22. Yep. And then we just opened a licensed storefront, brick and mortar, in Gulf, Daphne, Alabama. So
amazing. Yeah. The growth is like exponential.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's very humbling. So it's been really cool to just like watch something so small turn into something so big and just be like, oh my gosh, like that is just it. Every family plays a big part into what Bondi is today. Like our owners in Fort Worth, they serve Fort Worth so well, and that's why we're able to grow at the rate that we're growing in Texas, and same with Dallas and Denton and Lubbock and Portland, Oregon. I mean, like all of these places, our owners are loving their community so well locally that now we're known nationally. And that's just like the coolest thing, that there are so many people and such a big camaraderie of a team aspect and a family that make Bondi what it is today. So it's really fun.
Such a beautiful story.
Yeah,
I love
incredible.
that.
Thank you.
Do you guys have a lot of, are you guys well connected with all of the owners across the country? And
Yeah, everyone knows each other. We use like Slack as our way to contact each other. So on Slack, you can it's basically just a big group message of everyone. So literally today, our Dallas truck just sent a selfie and an encouraging message for the 4th of July. And actually her AC went out. And so she's like, we're burning up, but I hope you guys are all doing really well. And so, and just encouraging all the other truck owners going into this big weekend. And so, everyone knows each other. They know who to ask when they need a question. Our Nashville truck does a great job of doing bring it to the office caterings. And so when someone has a question like that, they typically direct it towards Katie, who runs the Nashville truck. And so, everyone is really helpful and asks questions and really is a family in a sense. So
and do some of your owners also get to throw in their own unique Bondi Bowls? Because I noticed looking at the menu, I was there's such intentional names, like the Malibu. So do you have a connection in California?
Yeah. So I actually did my undergrad in California. So all of our names, so at our storefront, we have so many menu items, but they're all beaches, or actually they're my favorite places to watch the sunset or sunrise. So Hiawassee is the lake that I grew up on. My parents raised us on a little lake out in the country. And so it was on Lake Hiawassee. And so that's my favorite place to watch the sunset. And then the Bondi and the Newport Malibu is core memories from college. So yeah, I tried to relate them to places that I know and I love. But some of them are hard to pronounce, and I think that's also half the fun. I like to kind of make it nobody can say Hiawassee. Clovelly is always an oddball as well. And so Bondi, we get a lot of Bondis. So I love that part of it as well.
Educating Oklahoma City, because I didn't know how to say. I had to look it up. I'm I don't want to mispronounce it on the pod. I'm let me look it up. Bondi.
We've all done that.
Acai too is another one too.
That one's a really hard one. We get a lot of acai or all sorts of silly things, but I love that part. I love that people actually talk about, okay, is it Bondi or Bondi? And they'll come in with their girlfriends and be like, all right, we've been talking all day about this. Is it Bondi or Bondi? And it's just so fun to know they're going around and talking about it. And I don't know, that's just really encouraging as a business owner to know people are invested in your brand and invested in your business and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
and it's cool that you have a space that's inviting enough for them to be open about it, right? Because a lot of times people are well, I don't want to mispronounce it. I also don't want to confront this feeling of maybe I'll mispronounce it. So I'm just going to go with what I think I know.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we do have a lot of people do that, or they build their own and it's the Bondi.
Yeah.
But they're trying to sneak around it. So we get a little bit of both. But I love being at the store because all of our high schoolers and stuff, I feel they feel more empowered to take responsibility. Where on the truck, I'm always there working with them. So if an issue or something occurs, I'm normally the one that solves it. But now they're all in a position where they get to kind of solve answering questions, a question that they might not know the answer. They have to ask each other and not always lean on me. So that's been really cool too, is watching these high school and college kids that work for me be more independent and stronger. Yeah. And it's just been cool to watch after some of my girls have been with me for the past year and a half, and just watching them transform and grow in confidence in their work ethic and things like that. So I definitely love the community aspect, and that people feel comfortable and safe to come into Bondi and experience it. So yeah.
Was that aspect, and you talked a lot about family and team and community and being together in this world. Was that hard to form as you were starting out, or was that something that just came naturally to you?
Yeah, I think that community and culture takes a lot of work. And I really do think that the Lord has blessed us just from the beginning, because our intention was always to be community. So it wasn't we needed to shift gears or change our business plan. Our business plan was always, if we had a business plan, if we wrote anything down at the beginning, it would be to serve the community and bless the community, and in return, allow the community to bless us. And that's been what has been super rewarding. And same with all of our truck owners and the businesses that we partner with and things like that, getting to physically bless them with a good product, or increase sales if we're parking outside of a boutique with our food truck. But then also in return, getting blessed by like positive reviews on social media, people like actually physically coming up to us and lifting us up or leaving a really nice, kind, generous tip or whatever that may be. I think it just, honestly, the Lord just blesses with the right people that are also dedicated towards that culture and that commitment to community. But I do think that the way that my parents raised me, my parents are incredible in so many different ways. But our house has always been open. Our door's always been open. And they've been so quick to take people in. We've had tons of people always staying at our house. They have youth groups and boys ranch and all sorts of people coming to our home when we were growing up and like experiencing the lake and things like that. So hospitality and community have always been like deeply rooted into like who I am because of my parents. And so it's been cool to like also take what they've taught me and get to use it towards my business and then watch that like physically bless a family in Lubbock, a family in Alabama or Nashville or whatever it is by like following that same structure of hospitality and community and culture. But yeah, honestly, the Lord brought the right people in because it's really hard to say no. So at first I was just like, yeah, join into the team, join into the family. And like, the Lord had his hand on that because there are so many people that could have joined the family that would not have been a good fit. And the Lord kind of like weeded them out for me because my strength is not saying no. So I've gotten better at it the older that I'm getting, but that's not my strength. And so the right people have stuck around and then just carried on that community aspect, which has been really cool. I don't do as great of a job as I do now. I feel like I get really stressed out or a lot of other things are happening, so it's harder for me to be intentional with people. So it's really cool to watch my owners and my employees and my managers like continue to facilitate that with me not always being present. It has been really life-giving.
Takes a lot of risk, no, to like put your faith and your trust in individuals, and it really is just kind of like a luck, not luck of the draw, but just like if it's meant to be. And it sounds like you got really like,
I did.
Yeah.
It has really expanded my prayer life. Yes, so that is for sure. But yeah, that's been like the really cool part about it is just like, wow, watching the right people come in and be dedicated to it, and even just complete strangers that walk in and they're like, you should put a storefront here. This is where you should go next. This is what you should do next. It's like they're thinking about Bondi. Like they're intentional and they want me to continue to succeed. That is just like so cool how much your community will like take care of you when times get hard or like when you get really discouraged. Like I have really low lows and really high highs. And so sometimes during those lows, the right person comes in and says just the right thing that I needed to like fuel me back up. And so, I think that community is just like such an important part, and Oklahoma does it so well. And so, I've been very blessed.
Yeah, that's why, I joked with a friend when I moved here after college was, you stay here long enough, you don't want to leave.
Yeah, it's so true.
Because you get ingrained in that community and in that sense. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Nabil. And so we didn't grow up here, but we moved here. Well, I moved here to go to college. You moved here to finish high school, but my husband isn't from here either. But when we got married, I was like, what are we going to do next? Like, are we going to go move to the East Coast where your family is? He's like, no, babe, our family's here. Like, our friends are here. Like, I really love Oklahoma. People are so, they embrace you. They love on you. And it's, I think a lot of people underestimate how the potential of the community that Oklahoma is.
Yeah.
And because you start a business like you did in the middle of the pandemic and everybody supported you. Yeah. It sounds like so intensely and with so much passion. Yeah. And I love that people come to your store and tell you should open here. I love that. That's such an Oklahoma thing. I love that.
It really is. I'm like, you were on vacation and you thought of Bondi. Yes. Like you were like walking past the store, you're like, Bondi needs to be here. Let's take a picture. We're going to show her next time we're in. I love that.
Maybe they were craving it and we're like, that'd be cool if that was there right now.
I really need a Bondi Bowl right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the acai, so where do you, so acai is such an interesting fruit. Like it's like a berry and it grows somewhere in South America, I think, right? And so when I'm originally from Bolivia, there are a few acai places there. And I feel like it's just, I don't know if they're not, I just really like your bowls. I don't know what you're doing with your bowls. I'm just saying, like, you guys have figured something out because your bowls are delicious.
She's like, where are you getting your acai?
Where are you?
Give me the business plan. No, though, it is straight from the Amazon. I mean, like, we are using pure acai, which and we were kind of chatting about this earlier, is like being intentional with your product and being intentional with your ingredients goes such a long way. And I wanted to not only be a fun, aesthetic, culture, community aspect company, but I also want to be a company where we want to go back. Like Chick-fil-A, they do it, I feel like, a great job where like, oh my gosh, they're always so friendly. You know, they have their like one-liner and they do a lot of things right community-wise, but they also have really good chicken. Like I love to go to Chick-fil-A. And so I wanted to be the same. I didn't want to do an average product with a high quality service. I wanted to be high quality in my service and my product. And so it is pure acai that we just blend with a couple other fruits, but it's all fruit. So we have no refined sugar, we have no preservatives, we have no milk products. Like when you taste us next to other competitors or different bowls, you can taste a difference. And we get that all the time. People will drive from all over just saying, we were craving your specific bowl because we love your product. And that is just so encouraging to know that like taking the higher road on some of those decisions and like losing some on your margins, but it gaining like a loyal fan base and loyal like customers because they know what kind of product you're putting out there, I think goes so much farther while you're just maybe losing a small percentage on margins. I think it really does pay off, if not multiply in the long run. And so although our margins maybe not be as good because our price points are roughly the same as everyone else's, I really do think that our long-term game, which is what we're in it for, I want to be like the Chick-fil-A of acai bowls and healthy food. Like that's the goal. I want to be in every single state. I want to be changing the world with a smoothie bowl. And so, being intentional with our product was really important for me and my family. And, you know, using a homemade vegan granola that we make from scratch, we make it here at our flagship store. That's also so important to us. So we're not buying a wholesale, who knows what's the ingredients in this granola. Like we are really intentional with our ingredients. Same with our peanut butter and almond butters. Like those are all made from scratch. My mom still makes those and she's my hardest worker, honestly. She was making the granola for the first 2 years and she finally retired. She's like, Bailey, I think she made a ton of granola, a physical ton, a literal ton in a month. And she was like, Bailey, I cannot do that anymore. And that was like in March. So like our busy season hadn't even started. And she's like, I cannot make more granola.
That is 1,000 pounds of granola.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that was like a year or something ago. And so it just keeps multiplying. So now I have a handful of girls that make our granola that I trust and love and have been really, really good to Bondi. But yeah, we like ship our granola out all over this to every state, to every truck. Same with our almond butter and peanut butter. So everyone is using consistency of our homemade vegan granola. And so that's been really, really fun as well, is that we're making a product that you can't just get anywhere. Like you have to get this from Bondi. It's not at the supermarket. It's not anywhere else. It's just at Bondi Bowls, which I love that too.
That's awesome. Yeah. So the signature ingredients are consistent throughout the country in every Bondi bowl truck.
Yep. Yeah, so the bases, they all blend there because we blend all of our bases fresh, and they follow like the ingredients and the recipes that we've provided for them. But those granola and the almond butter and peanut butter, like we were kind of talking a second ago, is as someone that cooks, there's like very specific rules to follow, and it's almost too hard to give out even that granola recipe because it's hard to be consistent in it. Sometimes we even waver here at the store making it and it's not as consistent, and so we have to get back on track, and my mom has to come in and retrain the girls, and it's like we wouldn't be able to monitor that across all of our locations. So keeping that here so that we can keep that safety net of keeping everything consistent and high quality is really important to us. But also knowing that it is being made like fresh and almost every Monday through Friday we're making granola. So if you walk into the Edmond store, you can smell it and you can feel the oven's heat. Honestly, it's pretty hot back there. And but yeah, it's my favorite part. I love that we do that.
It's like Krispy Kreme. You got to put up a light when you're making fresh granola.
Yes, we really should. And hand out little tasters or something.
Yes.
Because the fresh granola is just like next level. It's so good. So Yeah.
I have to come just to get some fresh granola.
Honestly, yeah. People come in and buy it by the bags, or we like sell it online on our website as well. And like yesterday, we literally had someone buy 5 bags of granola. And it's like, oh my goodness.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Once you have it, you're addicted. So
Yeah.
it tastes great with yogurt and all the things.
Yeah. I bet. And honey, yogurt and
Yes.
honey. Oh.
But that's what makes us different than also competitors. A lot of people are using the same wholesale product for their toppings and for their granolas. And the fact that we do it all in-house, I think makes us a little different and unique and special. And so I've loved that. And I didn't even realize how smart that was moving forward, because we never planned a franchise. Or license. It's technically a license, but that was never like our goal. I started it because I was depressed. I was angry at God, and I just needed to get out of my house and have a purpose. I wanted a purpose, and I wanted to serve people because that's what I love to do. And this just kind of like fell into our lap, and my mom used to own 2 Subway franchises in Edmond and Arcadia, and she kind of like spearheaded it along with some of my mentors of like what it looks like to create a license and be a licensor, and by like having our set granola and being strong in our brand recognition and things like that were like so vital for us to expand to this place. That was really cool. And again, just a small blessing that we didn't realize until we looked back on it. We're like, oh my gosh, we're so glad we chose to go the harder route of making our own granola rather than the easy route of wholesaling the granola, and like little things like that make a really big difference.
It does. And people can tell. People notice, and I'm glad you guys are doing that.
Thank you.
Because it's delicious.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And just keeping the brand consistent.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, so right now for the summer, do you guys have any any specials that we should be looking out for, or any like new? Because I'm sure that all the main ones like that you guys have on the menu are cult favorites.
Yes.
But I'm sure that creative, little bug in you wants to just like mess with the ingredients.
It's so hard because once you expand and license out, you have to be like always creating new things, but also like my food trucks, they don't have a lot of freezer space like I do here at the store. So like trying to also be mindful of what resources they have. But we do a bowl every month. So we always do a month special. And so our 4th of July one is our most popular one by far. It's our banana coconut base with our spirulina base. And then this year, instead of doing our raspberry base, we're actually doing this like raspberry drizzle, and we're putting it in between the bases. And it is so good. So we released that in 2 days on the 1st. And that always like does incredible. Like all of our trucks do phenomenal with it. Everyone does great with it. And it is like our top selling product by far. We put a little American flag in it, and it's a whole experience, and it's cute and fun. And then at the store, we always experiment with new ideas. So we have a blue juice right now. We have a new smoothie. It's like a more tart smoothie versus our sweeter smoothies. And so we're always like trying guinea pigging things at the Edmond storefront. So you should always come in and you should always look for a flyer, because we're normally like trying something out to see if it's worth adding to our like master menu. But yeah, we always do a signature bowl of the month. And then, so we love being creative.
Who's coming up with these?
Honestly, I've kind of taken the back burner on the creativity. I've been so blessed. One of my managers, well, actually a lot of my people at the Edmond store, but specifically Sam, who is one of my lead managers at the store, she is so creative. And she loves to cook, loves to bake. She sells her macaroons every once in a while at the store. And she's just great at what she does. So she honestly spearheads a lot of them. So she came up with substituting the raspberry base for that drizzle. And it is so good. I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of this? So I love that too, is that creating a safe space for people to be creative and come up with these new ideas and like pass them on to us and like let us like turn it into something big at Bondi. I think that's been really fun. I feel like all of my employees are constantly like, Bailey, try this base that I just
cool.
created, or things like that. And so I love like getting to encourage creativity in that aspect. It's been fun.
That's fun. And I'm assuming when it's probably already shipped out to all the trucks. The base was made in-house, and then you ship that out to everyone.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah. So
that's quite a operation now, starting from a truck in 2020 to.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like my role now looks nothing like it did, honestly, even 6 months ago. And just how the Lord has brought the right people in. Like my store runs itself. You know, I have 3 amazing managers. They do corporate for me and the store. They're constantly shipping out orders, making the granola, filling all those orders, communicating with the truck owners. Like they spearhead all of that. So I don't even know if something's going wrong or something's going great or an order didn't make it in time or UPS screwed up or whatever it was. Like I don't know about those things until way later, which has been honestly crazy, but also like so cool to know that these girls are so capable of like taking on these roles and these tasks. And then I have a CSO down in Texas, and his main role now is to onboard new licensees. And so he's the one having those ongoing conversations and reaching out to them and following up and getting them to sign the contracts and that kind of stuff. And so I'm not even in that role anymore. So now my role, you know, looks so different as like a quote CEO or whatever it would be, or founder, of like kind of just like engaging with everyone and creating opportunities to be creative and encouraging creativity. And getting to do like odd things that I would have never been able to do because I wouldn't have had the time before. So like we just, you know, did bowls up at Simple Modern. We just brought them up to their office and I got to like go and do that and see some of my friends that work at Simple Modern. And like that's so fun. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was like hands-on with the store. I wouldn't be able to like give myself that free time to go and run these errands. So yeah, it's really cool like bringing the right people in and having them, trusting them with the responsibility and knowing that they might screw up, but creating a space where they feel safe enough to come to me when they do screw up and that we can solve the problem easily. I think if things weren't communicated to me well, then there would be a lot of things that fell through the cracks. But I think that we've created a space where they feel trusted and empowered enough to come even when they mess up. And I love that about my employees, is that they're never like too boastful about anything. We conquer everything together as a team, even when it's hard. So, yeah.
Well, it takes a really good leader and boss, leader, honestly, to foster that. And I feel like maybe this just kind of turned into that without you even realizing it. Yeah. Because nobody really knows that they have that within them unless you were like, oh, president of your university, whatever. But then you just kind of grew into this position, and now you've created like a culture within your company where people feel so like comfortable and empowered. So good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how well I do it all the time, but it's been really cool that I have such amazing people around me that love me through it, honestly, through the highs and the lows. So
is there, we talked about the 4th of July bowl. Is there a bowl on the menu that holds a special, like, this is my bowl, this is always going to be it? And
I am so basic. I get the Bondi and I add our homemade peanut butter and honey. I mean, you just can't go wrong. I literally have it every single day.
Well, that's what it's named after, right?
Exactly. It is. But it's like, wow, I really don't mix it up. I have no creativity outside of that. I'll say every single day. My dad's the same. My dad, our largest bowl is actually called the Brimp Bowl, which is named after my dad. And he just gets acai, granola, and peanut butter.
Love
and he
it.
stacks all the way to the top and he just mixes it all up. And he just walks around Bondi with it, stabbing his spoon into his bowl, mixing it up. That's like the vivid vision I have of my dad. So, yeah, it's good fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's very nostalgic? Like, did you bring some of that inspiration from Australia? Because Bondi, that's a beach in Australia.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I lived right before I came here. And yeah, I think that we have like some hints of Australia. So actually in my Edmonds store, I had my friend from Hawaii that I'd met during undergrad come out and paint the mural, and it's actually based on Aboriginal art, which is the Indigenous people of Australia, and so lines and dots and things like that is really important to their culture, and so that's actually what our mural is based off of, is that kind of art. Because when I lived in Cairns, which is a different part of Australia, I was friends with so many Indigenous people, some Aboriginal friends, and it was just so cool to learn about the culture. And I was a wedding and event coordinator when I was up there, and I was doing Indigenous weddings, and I was learning the dances and the language and how they like interact and what their culture and lifestyle looks like. And I just loved my time there, and I loved learning about the people group there. So it was cool to like bring a subtle touch of it, but like make it pink, you know?
Yes.
So it was fun, yeah.
Have you ever thought about taking Bondi Bowls to Australia sometime?
That would be the dream.
She has.
Oh, yeah.
It's right here on the list.
Honestly, I think we'll be international before you know it. I don't know if it'll be Australia, but I think it'll be somewhere and it will be incredible. So it's definitely high on the radar and actually in the works. So hopefully
a little Australian pop-up.
Exactly. Who wouldn't love that? There actually is a little food truck on Bondi Beach and they do like ice cream. And I'm like, this just needs to be converted to a Bondi Bowls. It's just screaming Bondi. So maybe one day, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be like rooting for you.
Thank you.
And so excited to know that it's like a local Oklahoman doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before we sign off, do you have anything special that you want to tell the listeners?
Ooh, I do actually have 2 big stores coming up. Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I haven't actually really told a lot of people. I keep it like really low key. I haven't posted about it or anything. But we are planning to open a store in Huntington Beach, California.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
And hopefully one in Dallas, Texas. So before the end of the year, you can find us with a store in Huntington and Huntington and Dallas. So
That's awesome.
those are both in the
amazing.
works.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very excited.
I hope that you can still keep this role of just like enjoying your creation.
Yeah.
And not getting like mixed up in like all the weeds of owning a business. But it seems like you're there and I hope that it stays that way.
Thank you. I do too. I love this role and I love getting to use it. And I don't know. I just love everyone that is a part of Bondi, all the owners, all the managers, all the employees. I love the people. So that's what keeps me going.
I'm literally going to Bondi Bowls after this, by the
Me
way.
too. Me too.
We should go.
Well, me too. I'm going to
It's going to be my
We'll see you later.
pre-pickleball snack. Yeah.
There you go. For pickleball, it partners well with pickleball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet.
And we can't forget. So we always do this in every episode. We've been forgetting a few times, but we want to make sure we're intentional about it. So we always do an Eat of the Week.
Okay. Well, the first one, my sister made this really good buffalo chicken like dip the other day for like a pool party. And it was so good. Like I went back 3 times for this dip. But she is quite the little chef and it was incredible. But I would say restaurant-wise, Evoke's breakfast sandwich is so good. It's on a croissant and they put this like sauce on it. And I literally go there almost every day for that breakfast sandwich. It's so good.
I only get coffee. Now I have to go and get the breakfast sandwich.
Right.
Their
That's
coffee
right.
is great, but oh my gosh, their food is so good. The waffle sandwich is also really popular and the avocado toast. Those are like what I rotate through. But the sandwich is unreal.
All right, croissant sandwich.
Yeah.
After Bondi Bowls.
After your Bondi
Maybe I'll
Bowls.
get the croissant sandwich tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Nabil, do you have something that you want to share with us?
Yeah. So we were at a friend's place.
Oh, you're going to take mine.
Hey, so you shouldn't let me go first.
Dang it.
And maybe we'll mention different things. But I was going to talk about it all because it was all so good.
Okay, maybe pick your top
I want to come to
2.
y'all's party now. This food is so good.
All right, next one. The first thing that I tried was the hummus that Roxanne had made. And it was just so creamy, so flavorful. Those delicious hummus. But then Joe with his rolled flank steaks.
Oh, yes.
That was incredible. And then
The chimichurri.
the chimichurri, everything was on point. And he did the smoked chicken. And, chicken just cooking over a long time, so easy to overcook and get dry. But the skin was crispy. It was super moist. It was, oh my gosh, it was so good. I just kept like picking at the chicken while we were standing there and chatting.
So in our friend group, nobody's professionally trained, but we all put a little too much enthusiasm in what we do and cook.
I love that.
And we're always like and everybody kind of has their specialty. So our friend Roxanne, she is the queen of dips, and so she always comes in with like a really unique dip, and it's so good. Did you want to share anything else from the?
Well, and RJ's potatoes.
His potato skins.
Yeah, those were good.
Now I'm
too.
like, what is he missing? I feel like he hasn't said your answer yet.
I thought you were going to talk about Sedalias.
Oh no,
That'll be my Eat of the Week.
there we go.
Okay,
Just a lot of eats
There was
this week.
wow.
There's been a lot of good food this month.
Yeah.
So, so we recently went to Sedalia's Seafood and Oyster, which is a restaurant that just opened a few years ago. It's on 10th Street. I don't know what the cross street is, but it's just north of the fairgrounds. It's in a neighborhood where you typically see a lot of like taqueria food trucks, Mexican food trucks. And so it's kind of its little satellite right there. And so the owners are Zach and Silvana. Silvana's Bolivian, my compatriot.
I love that.
But she's, so they have such an interesting story, but their food is amazing because they get fresh seafood every week. And the oysters, there's a lot of thought that goes behind it because from where they both, or Silvana, I think she lived many years on the East Coast, but the week that we went, they had Prince Edward Island oysters, and they had Wellfleets, which are so freaking delicious. That's in Massachusetts or Cape Cod, I think. So those were delicious, and they had them with a shallot wine vinaigrette and a spicy sauce in this like little like quaint glass
Little
bottle with
No
with a
way.
pipette.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was
am I in
great.
chemistry class? I was like, drop.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Oh my gosh, I have to try.
Go. And then they have this amazing focaccia. And so
The focaccia.
So I've already been there a couple of times, and every time we order the focaccia first, and then after an hour or two, we like, can we get another one?
And it's-
It like turns into like multiple orders.
No
right?
way.
And no joke, about an hour, because you sit there and you just keep eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, I'll have this one, and then I'll have this one. So it almost kind of becomes into this like course experience, even though it's not. But they'll bring out like one plate at a time, and everyone's just eating a piece of the, the different plates that they offer. But the focaccia has a buttery cod mix or cod butter. It's like fishy, but it's very buttery and creamy. So if you like fish,
I love fish.
then you will love it.
Their
So
crudo was incredible.
their crudo was amazing because they have that. So I can't remember what fish they had for that specific day, but they marinated in this leche de tigre, which is like a Peruvian citrusy milk. Milk consistency, but it has no dairy in it. But they call it the tiger's milk.
Yeah, they
But-
use it for like ceviches and
They use it for
right?
Peruvian ceviche, and so it has a lot of herbs. It has like cilantro. I don't know how they make it, but I know how I make my leche de tigre. It's very citrusy. It's got a lot of spices. It's got a lot of herbs in it, and it's got some fish and seafood broth in there. So it's delicious. And so yeah, you should go.
I should go,
Go,
for
check
sure.
it out, check it out.
That sounds incredible.
All right, here's our food
on my
adventure.
list.
We'll start at Evoke. with
Yeah,
the
there we go.
Breakfast sandwich. Then we'll get a little light snack at Bondi.
Yes.
And we'll
top
play
it
some
off.
pickleball in the middle.
There we go.
Yes.
And then we'll end up at Sedalia's.
I love
Yes.
it.
Oh, and their wine
a
selection is
great
so
day.
good too. If you like wines,
Yeah.
go.
I know. My sister would love this. So we'll definitely, she's a foodie for sure. So I'll have to take her.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, and you'll probably connect well with the chef there. His name is
Honestly,
Zach,
yeah.
and he so he's from Oklahoma, but he traveled to Los Angeles, and that's where he became a
Oh,
chef.
very
And he
cool.
trained there, and he had a restaurant, and so
Wow.
interesting backstory.
Yes,
so,
I should definitely introduce myself. That sounds, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being on the podcast.
Of course.
And
Thanks
taking
for
out
having
time
me.
from your busy day.
It was a chaotic day. So
And for people wanting to follow Bondi and keep up with your announcements of new bowls, new stores, where can they do that?
yeah, Instagram, it's Bondi, BONDI.bowls. And then same on Facebook and our website, bondibowls.com. I try to keep that one up to date as well with all of our locations and menu and nutritional facts and all the good stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
And while you're doing that, follow us as well at OKC Foodcast. And
Yeah, on Instagram at OKC Foodcast. We've got a Facebook page as well, OKC Foodcast. I know we have a TikTok and a Twitter out there.
Those are great.
Gotta dust those off.
Yeah.
But yeah, just follow us and let us know who you guys want us to interview next, or where you guys want us to go check out next too.
yeah. And remember, share this podcast with a fellow food lover. And until next time, eat well and be happy.